Thank you very much for joining the session this afternoon. I hope you find it really helpful. And as I say, Lisa will deliver a fantastic session for you. So I shall see you all very soon. So thank you. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much for coming on this today. I've put together some slides. I've tried not to make it death by PowerPoint, and please feel free to jump in at any point if you've got any questions or you want some clarification over something. Okay, so this is the first of a series of 2 to start with for social media, to try and help people get to grips with it. I thought we'd just start with a little bit of an introduction. So that's me pre-lockdown here. I'm one of the account managers at BVPR. I also help the digital comms for Blackburn Bid. So if you see website updates and social media from Blackburn Bid, it's generally myself, and Catherine helps with all the updates. We've also started with a new newsletter as well, which hopefully you're all on the mailing list for. And if you're not, we can get you signed up to that as well. Wayne, do you want to sort of introduce yourself and where you're from?
Yeah, hi, I'm Wayne. I'm the owner of Morey's Health Store in Blackburn.
And James?
Hello, I'm James. I'm Chief Exec of Care Network. We're a local charity based in Blackburn Town Centre opposite the library.
Trish?
I'm Trish Hassel. I'm a director at Waddington & Sons Solicitors on Richmond Terrace.
Debbie?
Hi, I'm Debbie Summersgill. I also work with James at Care Network, and I'm the Service and Operations Manager.
Marcus works at Hobkirk Sewing Machines. I've tried to shoehorn as much information as I can into this to try and help you. So it is going to be a bit of a whistle-stop tour. I could literally spend all week talking to you about social media, but that's the last thing that you want, I'm sure. Some of you might have dabbled with social in the past. Looking at the survey you all filled out, I've noticed that all of you have Facebook, a few have Twitter, and then a few have Instagram and other like LinkedIn. One of the things that you've all said as well is that you're all time poor, which I can completely relate to. It's something that we get told off clients all the time. It's one of those where you know you need social media, but it's usually at the bottom of your priority list when it comes to clients and work and other things that you've got to tackle. Quite a few of you have mentioned as well is that you either don't know where to start, or you forget to post, or that you don't have a following, or you get a bit disheartened with lack of engagement. So hopefully some of the things that we're going through today will help tackle some of those and make it easier to post more consistently, but also give you a bit of an idea of what kind of things will work for your audience. We've also got another intermediate session on the 24th. I think the main thing to remember is that you're not going to break the internet by trying things. The more you do it, the more you'll understand it and the more you'll get better at it. So yeah, hopefully you feel a little bit braver after this. There's no such thing as a silly question. If there's anything at all that you don't understand, please just ask. Lockdown has prompted people to think differently, as you all know. Previously, it might be that you relied on customers or clients to come into your place of work and make a transaction that way, or to use your service that way. But because a lot of places have been closed or not had that access to people, it's made it a lot more tricky. So the idea of social is to try and reach people that can't come to you physically. So it's a way of reaching not just your existing customers, but also potential new customers as well. What kind of customers are you trying to reach, and where do they live? There's so many different social media platforms nowadays, and especially if you are time poor, it is a choice of picking those ones that are the best channel for you. And it's not just about having an account. A lot of people see social as, right, yeah, I've got Facebook and Twitter, but it's all about being social with your followers as well. Liking, commenting, tagging, ways of engaging with others on a public platform. So in terms of which channels, I don't know how much you all know about the different audiences within those channels, but just to give you a bit of a snapshot, Facebook, its main demographics are sort of age 25 to 35. Those are, according to Sprout Social for this year, that's the main majority of the users of Facebook. However, it is used for people way beyond that. It's used mainly to contact friends and families, to keep up to date with people, to share images, and also groups as well. Groups are vital on Facebook. It's a great way to sort of keep it in with that kind of interest that you've got as well. Instagram is owned by Facebook, so the two are very much linked. The largest age range is between 25 and 34. And it's very much a visual platform. It's all about pictures and videos. On Twitter, it tends to be, if you've got a complaint, you want to rant with somebody, it tends to be on Twitter. The largest proportion of users are aged 35 to 49, but again, it's popular with people across the range from sort of 18 to 49. It's very fast moving. It's great for events and things like that, and also breaking news where people can keep up to date. So if you've got any events or exhibitions, Twitter's a really good platform to be on. As I've mentioned, there are hundreds of different platforms, TikTok, LinkedIn, etc. But let's break the back of the one that you probably need the most, and then you can learn from that and then expand what you offer. You need to think about your particular audiences. So what age group do they typically fall into? How specific can you be? What kind of interests have they got? What kind of challenges are they facing? You all mentioned about trying to find, win and retain clients. So you need to think about who they are. The more specific you can be, the better. So, if you know that Pamela, 56, full-time worker who likes Coronation Street and visiting cafes, she's probably going to be surfing social media during the ad breaks of Corrie. So it's little things like that. If you've got an insight as to what your clients look like, you'll know what kind of things they're looking for and also what kind of times they're online as well. So I don't know whether anyone's ever done any persona work or any sort of audience breakdown. Is that something anyone's done?
We actually have 2 characters that
Yes.
that define some of the customers we aim at.
Brilliant.
So we have we're Morey's Health Store. So we have Mickey Morey, who is a 19-year-old male wanting to improve how he looks, going to the gym. And we have Miriam Morey, who is a 52-year-old woman, menopausal, etc. And they're sorry, excuse me. we have those 2 that we try to set our advertising to.
Brilliant. So just having those personas, it does make it a lot more easy to target things, especially on Facebook. Facebook, when you come into the paid for advert, you can be so specific of people's ages, where they live, what their interests are, what their challenges are. You can be as specific as newly engaged or just had a baby or has just moved home. So in terms of looking at what services you've got, you can really be specific on Facebook, not as much so on the others, but that can come in with hashtags, things like that, which we'll move on to a little bit later. What I've done is, again, I know you're all in different places in terms of social media and where you're up to. I've done some slides here, which we might be able to rattle through, because I think all of you have got Facebook pages set up. But in terms of if you're looking at setting up a new account or perhaps a new arm of the business, or you wanted to have a bit of a refresh and start again, I've done some tips as well on how to set up different platforms, both Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Again, I'll have the slides that I'll send to everybody afterwards. But if you're looking at maybe expanding your social media presence, you've got those to refer to and like step-by-step guide. With Facebook, it's a little bit different than the others because you've got to have a personal profile that the pages are linked to. And one of the things you need to bear in mind with this is who's going to have access to the account. Now, at Viva, we have one person's account that all of our clients are based off. So again, it's just worth bearing in mind who does the social media, just out of interest here, who currently posts on social for your business? Trish, yeah. Anybody else, or is it other members of the team at the moment?
Colleagues.
Right, okay.
We actually don't post at the moment. We've lost access to the account and we don't know why, but we're trying to resolve that issue.
And what about you, Debbie? Is it something that you want to get more involved with?
Yeah, I mean, we do have a member of staff who tends to do most of it, but obviously I want to be able to support her better and understand it better. So
brilliant. And if there's anything you want to add, Marcus, feel free. I've got the chat box open. Yeah, so it's interesting. So for example, again at Viva, we've got multiple members of the team that can access the Facebook account through this, which just means that, especially if you've got multiple colleagues dipping in to do things. So again, you might have different arms of the business. So Trish, you might have someone that looks after perhaps client case studies. You might have somebody that's talking about specialisms within the practice, or you might be looking at team members perhaps. Everyone can have different roles to try and make it a little bit more manageable so that people know what they're looking after. And same with everybody else. If you're looking at dividing the roles to make it so you've not got as much work to do if you want to keep social up to date, it's just another way of having it. But it's just worth bearing in mind, unless you want someone seeing your selfies and your weekend pictures, to have perhaps a dummy account where you can access the pages off. So once you've got a profile, you can then link the pages to it. So again, I know you've all got Facebook profiles, but make sure the bio information is all filled out. make sure that this description tells people landing on the page that perhaps don't know about you already all the key information, so that they know they've got the right page. You can also create the username tag, and I think most of you have got that, but it's just, if you're setting up multiple accounts, and I've got a slide that shows this a little bit later on, make sure that all your accounts are as consistent as possible. I've noticed with a couple of you that the accounts are ever so slightly different. I've got Paige here now as well. So
she's one of my colleagues, thanks.
Yes, it's all right. So it's just making sure that the accounts are consistent, so that if someone lands on your particular company, they know it is the same one if it's on Twitter or Instagram as well. Hi, Paige. A quick tip is, if you're accessing different accounts or creating accounts, it is always easier doing it on a desktop than a mobile. It is possible, but it's just a little bit more fiddly. So yeah, take the time to fill out all the information. So you can create your username, you can invite your friends from that as well. Again, is that something that everybody's done? Invited their friends to try and get that bigger following? Because I imagine, like Wayne, for example, I bet you've got loads and loads of people that have benefited from your experience, and especially with the work that you've done with the papers that you've published. If you invite your friends, you've already got that audience that knows, likes and trusts you.
Well, I actually don't have a personal Facebook page.
Okay.
Which might actually account for the problems we're having accessing the Works one.
Okay, well, it might be after this,
yeah.
I can give you a few tips as to trying to regain access, or if not, helping you set back up. One of the other ways of trying to increase your reach as well. So when you've got a post that has been shared, there will be the box that you can see with the 97 and the little emojis. If you hover over that, it shows who's liked or commented on your post. You can invite those people to like your page if they don't already. So if you click on the number, it will bring up the screen just in the middle of the box there, which has a list of all the people's names. Now, if you click invite, it will send them a link to invite the page. And it's just another way, after every post, if you just spend a couple of seconds clicking on those and inviting new people, it'll help spread that reach as well. As we've said, it's all about growing that following, making that tribe of followers who know, like and trust your pages. So I've done some slides again for Twitter and Instagram. It's all very similar in terms of how you set things up. With that, you need a phone number linked to it again. So it's just something to bear in mind, because if you need to request verification codes, if you lock yourself out, it will be attributed to a mobile number as well. So again, the slides will go through how you go through it, what kind of fields you can fill in, your bio, and again, setting up a username. You can also follow anyone that's of interest. So if you want to keep in touch with any, you can follow relevant people related to that as well. This is where you can change your Twitter handle. It's worth bearing in mind that you can only have 15 characters. So I know that when we've recently set up the Experience Blackburn social media channels, I had to shorten it because it wouldn't let me have Experience Blackburn. So I've made sure that all three are consistent, and it's now Experience BBN. So it's just little things like that. I'd be setting up the channels to try and make it as consistent as possible. There's loads of different ways as well that you can do, linking things to WhatsApp and also Messenger these days as well. I've got all these will all be in the pack, so it just gives you a bit of an idea as to what everything does on the various different platforms and how to write posts. One thing that you may or may not be familiar with is a thread post on Twitter. You may have seen it on your Twitter feed, where it's a message followed by another message, but it's linked to the same post. You've only got so many characters on Twitter, and trying to cram it all in sometimes just isn't possible. So you can actually start a thread, which is through the little plus button on the screen. And that means that it'll link different posts. Instagram, again, same kind of thing. You can link it up. You've got a short amount of characters in your bio. How many of you use Instagram at the moment? Hi, Paige. I don't think you could hear us before.
Yeah, my internet took a while to connect then. So
it's all right, no worries. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I have Instagram. So
I don't think we've set a company Instagram up, but it's linked, I think, to the Facebook page.
Yes.
So I think when you get one, it kind of links to the other one, but I've not actually put anything on that I know of anyway. But you never know.
Some Friday night selfies that you're not aware of.
It's definitely not one of those. It's just something I don't know. It's just that's my worry about things like this. It's just how one thing links to another. So
Yes.
I've not actually uploaded anything directly to Instagram.
Right. Okay. It's a really good to have.
When I say I have it, I've just got a personal account. So yeah.
Well, it's good. I mean, even if you're new to the channel and you're a bit worried about posting something on a company account, set up your own. Set it up as some random name if you don't want any of your friends or family to see it, and just have a play, test out a few things, and just don't be afraid to experiment with what you're posting. You know, share some pictures, share some videos, or create some stuff. Facebook and Instagram are linked, they're owned by the same company. So when it comes to doing paid for posts, you can actually do it. If you pay for something on Facebook, you can do it so it also boosts on Instagram as well. So that's really helpful. But again, it's bearing in mind as well if the audience is the same across those two channels or whether it needs to be a different message. It gives you the option of keeping it as either a personal or a business. The business will allow you to do more. Instagram posting, again, very similar. You've got a lot more scope to add a lot more stuff on Instagram, but you can't put web links in there. So I'll whiz through. So Facebook posting. So when it comes to posting, a lot of you have said, don't know what to post, don't know when to post, don't know what to share, don't have a great following. When it comes to content, it's try and keep it varied. What will keep the interest of your audience? You know, try and use a mix of photos, videos, and even animations. You can write longer posts for some and then shorter for others, again, to try and make it so it's not war and peace on every post or just check this link out. You can use emojis, which I've seen a few of you do. And it helps keeps posts interesting if they're appropriate, of course. You can also tap into upcoming awareness days, for example, International Women's Day, which I saw that Care Network did do this week, so top marks there. You know, it's a chance to celebrate not just International Women's Day, but it can also be used as a way to spotlight women in your workplace, female clients, customers, products that are aimed at females, for example. It's all about latching onto something that's trending or topical or newsworthy at the moment and trying to make it applicable for your business. So, for example, it's Mother's Day this Sunday. So what opportunities are there for your business? You know, if you Google UK Awareness Days, it'll bring up a weird and wonderful list of all of the things. You know, there's some really, really random stuff, but also some things that you are relevant and you can tap into. It's how you can tweak things to make it more relevant for your business. I think yours particularly, Wayne, you've got so much scope to do things. You know, you've got so many products that'll match so many different audiences. You know, the world really is your oyster when it comes to that.
Cover a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I've been in it. There's absolutely everything for every vitamin, every ailment, everything possible. It's all there. And one of the things I've noticed that you don't always do is to include images with every post that you've got. It makes them more visual. And pretty much everyone has a camera phone now as well. So you can snap something in your business. It can be something outside of your business. It can be of your clients, your products, your customers. It's trying to show that sort of behind the scenes since COVID's closed so many different businesses at the moment. You've got that opportunity to show people that you are still there. You're still relevant, you're still trading. You want people to feel part of the brand. So it's always worth getting a photograph. And it can be anything. You don't need to be a fantastic photographer to include photographs. You can all create graphics and they are actually really, really simple. This took me less than a minute. I use a program called Canva. I don't know if anyone has come across it or if anyone uses it. It's software that you can access online. It's free, or you can use a paid for version. Now, obviously there are limitations to the free version, but there's a lot you can do. And it helps keep all of your social media feeds so varied, and it opens up a whole different world of things that you can share. It means that you can become the boss of your business and also a secret designer at the same time. When I was talking about the images and the animations, at the click of a button, you can make an animation. One of the things you can do is set up a branding kit. So if you've got specific colors that you use for your business and specific fonts, you can add all those to it so that you can click them at a touch of a button and it will change the graphics so that they are relevant to your business. It just keeps that brand consistency, and it's just a really good way of having everyone in the team working off a shared palette of colours or fonts and that kind of thing. Because the visual element on any social media is key. With the paid version, and before you ask, no, I'm not on commission, there's absolutely nothing in it for me. The brand kits are absolutely vital. That's one of the paid for features. But it also allows you to remove backgrounds and things like that. So again, with Wayne, I had a look on your website and there's not many pictures on there at the moment. And you've got obviously this wealth of stock in store. So if you clicked a picture, if you look on the right hand side of this, you've got the couple sat there with the lady. If you're taking a picture in store, for example, and you've got a box of a product and then the bottle of something, you can remove the background at the touch of a button. So it makes it real clean, really sharp, and you then focusing on the product. So you can do that for practically anything. And again, for Care Network, you know, if you've got events or you've got activities that you want to promote, it's a really simple way of making things look a lot more professional.
Is that on the paid for version that those additional options are on? So how much, do you know how much roughly it is?
It's not a massive amount of money. I can definitely check and send it over to you.
I'll have a look. I just wondered if you knew actually, but presumably you get all these other additional options.
Yeah, I'd
with
say
the paid version.
I'd definitely say it's worth doing the shared version, the paid version. Sorry.
Yeah.
Even things like you can get team members to create a graphic and then send a link to somebody so you can go, yeah, that looks fine, go with it. Or you can create templates. So let's say you're doing something about your professional services. You can create a suite of templates that you just tweak depending on what it is you want to promote at that time.
Yeah.
But it makes things so much easier. And again, with the brand kits, you can put in the correct colours and the right fonts. So you have got that consistency. And even if it's over both of your branches, for example, Trish, you know, you can make sure that you've got that brand consistency across the two. The other thing that the paid for version does as well is resizes the images. And again, it is the click of a button. Every social media platform has different size images. So you've got Instagram, which is a square, Facebook, which is landscape, but not super landscape, and then Twitter, which is a lot longer. And again, if you've got a design, you can literally click on resize, which is shown in the top left side, and you just click on a button and it will resize it for you. So it doesn't mean that you've got to reinvent the wheel. It is the click of a button. So if you've got, for example, we're starting to reopen in Blackburn, you're hosting an event and you want to try and get people along to it, you want to promote it across all your social media channels, you can create one document, one design, and make it into 3 within 5 minutes. So in terms of being time poor, it saves you so much work, but also it gives you that professional finish as well. The other thing you can do, I mentioned animations, and I bet all of you thought, oh, I don't know how to do animations or how to access animations. Well, you can make your own. And again, what it'll do is if you've got a design, so it'll have on this one, for example, it's a background picture and then 3 lines of text in different fonts. If you click on animate, it'll give you an option of how to make it move. So you can have it where the text comes across or it all pops and jazzes. I don't know if you saw the social media feed for Blackburn Bid today, but I put one on there for the social media course. Again, that was made in this and it was made in seconds, but it just gives you that option to make it look a lot more lively rather than just a flat image. You can also use it as well to have a photograph that you've taken, but then put your text across again, to sort of bring what would be quite a flat image to life. You've got the option of saving it in different ways as well. And again, it all does it for you. So you can save it as an MP4, which is a moving video, or you can save it as a JPEG if you're using it as a photograph on your social media feed. This is an example of how posts appear and images appear in different types of feeds. So these are both taken on Facebook. So I've just taken a few snapshots. If you're trying to pull images through from a website, it'll show us the one on the left. So it's actually a square image, but because of the way that it formats it, it shows it as a landscape image. Wayne, you shared a few and it pulls through from the website, but because there's not many images on the website, it's just a blank space. This is a way around it. So when you're uploading, you can actually add a photograph. I'd highly recommend taking a picture and then uploading it rather than taking a picture through your phone whilst on Facebook. It just means you can be a bit more selective with which images you're using. So you've got the option of pulling it through from a website or clicking the little cross in the top right hand corner of that image and uploading your own, which means that it will show as the one on the right hand side. It just makes it look a lot cleaner, especially if you've got pictures of people. It means you've not got anybody that's been decapitated or you're missing vital parts of text or parts of the picture. One of the things, again, that you can use to help reach more people is hashtags. It's not really used so much on Facebook, but very much so on Twitter and Instagram, particularly Instagram. It's a way of tapping into large conversations that are happening. So, for example, this week, one of the trending topics was Meghan and Harry on Oprah. And all you do with this to try and find trending topics on Twitter is you go to the little magnifying glass icon in the bottom, click on there, and it will give you an option of things for you. So things that it knows that you like to follow, things on COVID-19, obviously there's a lot of stuff at the moment on that, or trending. So if you click on that, you can see what's happening. So for example, if you're looking at awareness days that you can tap into, it'll show that kind of thing on there and what hashtags to include. So you can then tap into that conversation. But you can also share ones that are relevant to you. You might want to start your own. So one of the things we've done that we're going to encourage more and more bid members to use is Experience Blackburn. As we start with the reopening, we'll get more and more people to use that, and it'll start more of a conversation around promoting the town. In terms of, again, trying to collaborate and trying to reach more people and tap into other audiences as well, you can tag businesses. Now, I think it's one of those things where if you sit down and you think, right, I'm going to spend loads of time on social, you'll remember about it. But if you're a bit time pushed or you've not got a lot of headspace to do things, it's something that a lot of people can overlook, and it's a really easy way of reaching more people. For example, if you're tagging in a business, you use the @ symbol and then type in the name of the Facebook page that you're after. So I've done an example here for Experience Blackburn. Now, if you click on the bit where it says Experience Blackburn, it'll make the text blue, like in the bottom left. And it just means that what it'll do is it'll tell that account you've been tagged by your business. And it'll mean that they can start the conversation as well. So they might be able to say, thanks for the tag, or brilliant to have worked with you, or thanks for sharing. The more you comment on things, the more it will reach. The problem is when you're not paying for stuff, which is the way that most social media accounts are going, is it only reaches a very, very limited audience. And the way it works is, it's called organic reach. And it means that of your followers, so let's say you had 100 followers, of that, it'll only show it to a tiny little portion of those. So let's say 5. And if those 5 share it, it'll show it to maybe 25. And if those 25 share it, and so on. So the more people that like and interact with your post, the more people see it. Whereas if of that 5, nobody comments, it's unlikely to reach more people. So what you want to try and do is build that network, I suppose, of connections where, especially if you've got partners, I'm sure you've all got partners that you work with on a regular basis, whether it's courts or whether it's other legal firms or whether it's charities that you're involved with or support services or the council, for example. Tagging in those businesses and sharing that network and making more comments on different posts will help your reach as well as theirs. So it's all about that sort of group support, I suppose. It's a way of trying to help everybody and helping yourself. Does that make sense in terms of how it helps spread that message? If we get told about an event or an activity or some news, we'll share it on our website. And for example, I've put an example here for Farley's where they donated some money that they'd raised to the local cricket club. So I've shared that on Facebook. I've made a graphic for it using their image and I've tagged them in the post. So it helps them to know that we're sharing what they're saying. It's helping to spread that message, but also it helps to spread their story as well. You can also ask people if they'll like and share and retweet your stories, just again to try and get it going further. One of the things I was saying about the usernames, and I know a couple of you have got this issue, it can be resolved really easily, but it's just something to be aware of. If you're trying to get people to follow your business or organisation, you want to try and make it as easy as possible for them to find you. And if you've got different names on different social media platforms, it makes it a bit more tricky. So I've just put an example here of the council. I'm sure they won't shout at me too much just for me using their example. But if I'm trying to type Blackburn Darwen Council into a post, it comes up on Facebook as Blackburn Darwen Council. On Twitter, it's Blackburn Darwen. And on Instagram, it's at BWD Council. So all 3 networks have got different usernames. And I think it's the same on Care Network. I think I had a bit of a scan, a bit of a nosy at some of the accounts earlier. So one says Care Network Hub, and that's Facebook. And then one says Care Network UK, which is Twitter. So again, it's just tightening those little belts will help people find you easier. I did originally have Experience Blackburn as a whole written out, but because the character limit was shorter on Instagram, I changed it so that it was all consistent. This is how it shows when you've been mentioned by somebody in a post. It will come up to say, such and such body has mentioned you. So again, it's all about spreading that. It's building that network of people that will help spread your message, but also work with you. I think a lot of the businesses in Blackburn are really good at this, but maybe don't use it on social. It's more of a face-to-face or over the phone where we all support each other. So we can use social media to help boost that. So if you get tagged in somebody's post, it will send you an alert that says such and such body's mentioned you in their post and send you a link to that. So then you can say, thanks very much for sharing, love to see what you're doing at the moment. And again, it forms that conversation. With each comment, you're reaching a bigger audience. You'll also get notified on Instagram if you get tagged in somebody's story as well. So I've got an example there of Hampton by Hilton. I shared them in one of their stories and they sent me a little jazz hands to say thank you, which is always nice. It recognises that people are seeing what you're doing. And then again, just an example of a little comment, you know, I've put on here for a Blackburn Museum, fantastic photos, so much history. And it's just nice for them to see that people are seeing their posts, because I know that a lot of you have said we're not getting much engagement. And it might be that you are getting engagement, but like a lot of us, we might send them a like or we might view it and then move on. Whereas just a few words, they'll see that we've commented on that post.
Lisa, when you said, and you're quite right about we've got different names for our different accounts.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to come up with a generic one, does that mean that will the people who are following us and whatnot, who are our friends, will they automatically go to the new one, or do we have to start from scratch? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be the same account. So basically, if you go into your account, so regardless of which one you want to save, if you want to call it Care Network Hub or Care Network UK, it doesn't really matter. It depends which one's available for both of the platforms.
Yeah.
But if you just go into the one that you want to change, if you go into the settings and go onto your profile, there'll be the option of changing that username. It doesn't mean that there'll be any change to your followers. They'll be redirected anyway. It just means that it'll be easier to find you if they're looking for you.
Yeah, so we won't lose anybody by doing
No, not at all. It just means it's easier. So if they know that you are Care Network UK, for example, or Care Network BWD, you know, whatever you want to call yourselves, it just means that it's consistent. So when I was searching for you, I found posts on Twitter that mentioned you, but I had to find a couple of those to be able to find your account.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So Lisa, can I ask on that? So if we promoted our Facebook account name on literature and we change it, will the old one have disappeared? There'll be no connection. So if somebody picked up a leaflet in 2 months' time and sort of Googled the old name, would it just come up blank, or would it link through to the new one?
I don't think it would I don't think it'd be detrimental to you. If you've got more literature that's around a particular platform, so let's say you promote Facebook more on literature, I'd change the Twitter one. But if it's equal that you do share them, people will still find you.
Right. Okay.
But you can then obviously just update your literature as you go along.
Okay.
It makes it easier for your literature as well. If you're saying search us on social media at Care Network UK, people are searching the same thing rather than different things on different platforms.
Yeah.
It more comes into its own when people are trying to tag you. So if people are searching for you, they'll generally just type it out in the search bar to find you, and it will come up.
Yeah.
But if they're tagging you, it means that they're tagging you as the same address on each of the platforms.
Okay.
The main thing that you've all said is you are time poor, and I completely get that. You know, it is, time is of the essence, and when it comes to social media, it's one of those things that you need to do. You should do it consistently, but it's the thing that drops off the to-do list every day. One of the ways around that is scheduling.
We have Hootsuite.
Right. Okay.
I don't know whether we use it, but we have looked at it. I'm not sure how successful it was, but I know Sarah did spend a lot of time trying to use Hootsuite. Yeah.
So you probably got either a paid for or a free account. Scheduling, it doesn't replace posting live things, but what it means is, for those of you that might think Fridays are always the day when I might actually get around to it, but the rest of the week, not a chance. It means that you can schedule posts, and they don't have to be every day. It just needs to be consistent. So your regular might be once a week. It might be once a fortnight. I think the key is being consistent. It's all about having that consistency. So if you know that, right, I can dedicate half an hour on a Friday to scheduling, what you can do then is make sure that you drip feed posts that go out. And it's trying to make posts that are varied as well. So you can, using a scheduling tool, you can say, right, on Facebook, I'm going to post on Monday and Friday. And you can write the posts out, you can add the pictures, and you can pop them into this scheduling tool that will then post them out at the right time. So it just means that whilst you're busy in day-to-day life doing all the stuff that is fee earning or you need to do, you can not worry about Facebook or Twitter or Instagram until Friday again, when you've got half an hour free. But that doesn't mean that it's to be overlooked. You know, like I was saying about social being social, you do need to pop in or get one of your team to have a look and see if anyone's liked it or commented, or keep an eye out on what your partners are doing as well. But it's just a way of making sure that you've got news going out to your customers or your audience. So that we use Buffer, and we've got a number of accounts linked to it. So we've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can link LinkedIn to it, and you can link it for various different customers as well. So if you've got, for example, let's say you've got Care Network UK and you also post on behalf of somebody else, you can run all those through one individual Buffer or Hootsuite or Sendable or Sprout. They're all different social media platform scheduling tools. And it just takes that pressure off you, so you know that things are going out.
Are there any that are preferable between Hootsuite, Sendable, Buffer and Sprout? Are they all very much the same?
They're all very much the same, but they may look slightly different. But in terms of what they do, they're all much of a muchness. What it will allow you to do is upload pictures and videos and add any relevant hashtags. Like I said, we use Buffer, and what it will allow you to do as well with that is it gives you the option of adding your comments. So one of the things with hashtags is, so it doesn't look too hashtag spammy, you can add your hashtags as the comment rather than in the actual post itself. So if you imagine the post going out on Facebook, let's say it's Care Network UK celebrating its birthday this weekend, and then the first comment under that would be the hashtags that are relevant or tagging in businesses. So with Buffer, it will allow you to add that comment as well, so that your post goes out nice and clean, and then you've got all your hashtags and ats and things in the comments. But they are all much of a muchness. It depends on what you like. It is personal preference for a lot of it, to be honest, but it does make things a heck of a lot easier. That's the end of the slideshow. But what I've done as well is I've got a little bit of feedback on your individual platforms, if you'd like me to give you a few hints and tips of what I've seen of your accounts, if that would be helpful, if you're happy for us to share. I think a lot of people fall into the same traps as well.
Lisa, I was about to leave, but I'm interested in seeing now what you say about our accounts. So I'll hang on. But can I bump up the queue if that's the case, and then I'll leave? Sorry.
Yeah. So with yours, Trish, I had a look at Waddington and Sons, and I think the key things I've sort of pulled out from yours are Facebook says it's Burnley, which I know it was historically, but just to make sure that you're not making people think, oh, you're not in Blackburn or you don't have this anymore or whatever. On the website, where you've got the link to Facebook at the bottom, you've got the Burnley office and the Blackburn office, and both go through to the same link. So an option is to update it so it says Burnley and Blackburn, or to have separate channels if you want to keep them quite separate. It depends on what kind of things you want to post. It's just an observation. Another thing for you in terms of the usernames, Waddington and AND Son on Facebook, and Waddington and with the ampersand on Twitter. So again, it just makes it a little bit more tricky to find people if you're looking for different things. I noticed on Facebook the last post was in December. So again, it's just, I think scheduling would really help. You know, you've got so many things that you can talk about with yours. You've got a Twitter account, but don't use it. I don't know whether you're aware of that. So Waddington and Son, I had a look on Twitter, on Instagram, and it brings up a different company. It's not the same logo as yours. So it's just worth bearing in mind if you've got a competitor that's using the same handle.
I only say that we had that because when I was doing some work on Facebook, and I did the paid for kind of to expand your audience or whatever, and it came up, it just said it automatically put it onto Instagram. So I hadn't set anything up, so I'd assumed it just wasn't working. You know, if I haven't got I have a personal account, I think, but I don't use it. So I just assumed that nothing would be going on that. But I'll check that to see if it is up.
Yeah, there's one account and it's Waddington and Son, but it shows up. You can do it where you've got an app, again, a great thing for your mobile, where it brings up 9 squares and it forms a picture. And they've got 2 of those on the Instagram feed. So it's not the same logo though, and it's not the same colours. So I don't know whether it's a competitor or it doesn't actually have any detail on the posts themselves. but it's
Okay.
just worth bearing in mind if you're trying to direct people to Instagram.
Yeah.
Things that you can share. So, you know, there's loads of stuff you can do on thought leadership, all the different specialisms you've got within the team, changes to legislation, the court updates, the kind of things that we can share in via bid, the staff and their expertise. There's loads of different things that you can talk about. So if you were going to go down the scheduling route and you were to do some graphics, you could use a template that you create, then drop in a picture of whoever it is, yourself, and specialism is blah, 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 contact me. So you've got that call to action as well. So you
Yeah.
can drip feed these via scheduling. So
Okay.
I'll send you a link to that Instagram page that I found.
If you will, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Do you see the LinkedIn page, Lisa? Or
What was that, sorry?
do you see the LinkedIn page for Waddington and Son Solicitors, or did that not come up?
That was the one that looks like it's a different company. The one that I found anyway.
On LinkedIn?
On Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this was on LinkedIn. Yeah, Paige has recently done our LinkedIn page, which is why I'd asked her to join us.
Yeah, LinkedIn is brilliant. And again, you know, if you want some feedback and advice on that, I've tried to keep it where it's as broad as possible, but to help people get up and running with this particular session. But we've done loads and loads of work on LinkedIn in terms of lead gen. So if you want any advice on that, I'm happy to have a chat with you separate.
That's great. Thanks.
But yeah, LinkedIn's a really good one for you guys. Okay, so in terms of others, hopefully that wasn't too painful, Trish.
It wasn't. I don't wish to be rude now. I'm going to leave Paige to it if that's okay.
All right,
3 o'clock's a shouting, but thank you very much, and I'll hope to see you all again
See you
soon.
later.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.
So James and Debbie. So I've mentioned about the Care Network Hub on Facebook and Care Network UK on Twitter. Really great to see you tapping into the awareness days, so like International Women's Day. I thought that was brilliant. And also your use of emojis, so the blue heart that you're using. What I would say about the emojis is just try and vary it as well. So people don't just associate your post with the blue heart as well. You know, try and use different emojis that are relevant to the post that you're sharing as well. One thing I did notice on your feed, when you look at it as a whole, you've got a few pictures or similar posts that have been repeated. So there's, I think it's the autism group. There's a picture of I think it's a lady and a young man. And the pictures, I think there's 3 in a row at one point. So again, it's just trying to make sure you've got something in between of those, just to try and keep it varied. Not every post had an image. So again, Canva would be incredibly useful for you guys, just to try, and even if it's just text, but just to make it in your brand colors, maybe include your logo and your font. Just a really simple way of just adding a picture to it if you've not got something you can take a photograph of. One of the other things, and again, you are not on your own with this, is a post with lots of text in the image. So I think you've shared a few with your newsletter. There's been a few where it's got like circles with lots of text in them. It's quite tricky to see the actual detail of that, especially with the majority of people using mobiles as their primary device. So it might be worth, again, you can use Canva or something similar where you maybe pick out a section of that. So let's say one of the bubbles and you use the text from that, and then a link to website, or send us an email and we'll sign you up to the mailing list. So again, you've got that call to action, but it just breaks it up so people can focus on something. And I think as well, looking at your bio, you've got loads of stuff that you do, loads of great signposting that you do, and also the support that you offer people. But I think unless you're somebody that's within or using your services at the moment, it's not something that would be able to know exactly what you did unless we're involved with you. So I think, again, scattering in the odd post about we do this, or we can help you if you're struggling with X or Y. Just, again, dropping those in so more people know that you're there when they need your help. And again, notice that you're really active on Twitter, lots of sharing, lots of retweets, posting your own content. But again, I think the question is just around, do you comment on others as well? And therefore, can you get more people to comment on yours? So like I say, it doesn't need to be War and Peace. It can simply be acknowledging work that somebody's done, or if you've got any service users perhaps that have shared posts about yourselves or testimonials you can use. It's all about just growing that circle of people that are going to like, share and post about you as well. So hopefully that's helpful.
Thank you. Yeah.
No problem. Like I said, it's a bit of a snapshot. You know, if you wanted me to have a look a bit more in depth or give you a few more tips, I'm more than happy to do so. Wayne, with yours, so I know you've said that you've been locked out, so I'll forgive you for that. So the last post was in November on Facebook, saying that you're not shut during this lockdown.
I managed to get on it, and then after that, can't get on it. It's not that I can't even log in, I can't even access Facebook.
Oh, right, okay.
As soon as any computer I go on seems to know I've looked at our site, I can never look at Facebook on that computer again. It's
Right.
very odd, very odd.
I'll tell you what, I'll speak with you after this, and we'll see if I can try and get you back in, okay?
Right, thank you.
So things with yours as well, and again, I know you've not got access at the moment, so it's more for when you're on, but some of the stuff I say might help others. Some of your pictures are not showing properly, and it's what comes down to when I was saying about pulling images through the website. So if you're pulling images through the website, sometimes they can get distorted, they can chop people's heads off, they can, you know, if you've got 3 people in a picture, only one might appear, or it crops off vital information. And especially with your website at the moment, because it's not got that many images on there, I think it'd be preferable for you to click the little cross in the top right hand corner when it comes up with the image that it's trying to post, and actually upload a picture yourself from your phone or your computer, just again to make sure it views properly. And again, I think Canva would be fantastic for you with all the products that you've got. You can literally, you know, take 10 minutes doing a few pictures on your phone, upload them to Canva, delete the backgrounds, and off you go. You've got all those product shots then. There's quite a few posts without images, so again, that would have resolved that issue. There's quite a lot of repetition of the same logo. So with the lime green Bits for You logo, again, like the same with Care Network, where it's just be careful what's shown as your post to try and make it look varied. So again, just dropping things in between those will help vary that. The website says images coming soon, but again, that's probably linked to why they're not pulling through.
No, it's actually a brand new website. I'm still putting them on. Yeah.
Thought it looked new. It looked different.
There'll be another 30 on before the end of the day.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, there you go. You're already well on with that. And also, one of the things that strikes me about your business is having come in and had a chat with you and the team, show off the staff, you know, show off the experience that you've got. I've overheard you talking to people about many an ailment or what would you recommend, and you've got that wealth of knowledge and the different branches that you've got as well. So talk about that experience, make it a reason for people to come in store when they're able to, rather than just buying over the internet. I think you can really play on that as well, you know, because it's, you know, like we were saying last time, it's very much around that customer service. It's making sure you've got the right products and you're taking them in the right way, and you're looking at other factors as well. So with Hobkirks, there we go, Canva Professional, there you go, £99.99 a year. So for less than 100 quid, you've got a designer on your team. And what we do as well is you can have multiple people accessing it at the same time. So again, we've got one account that we use, and we might have 3 people using it at the same time. It saves all your pictures, and also it means that you can look at version history as well. So if you make a change and you think, oh, I should have saved that as a separate one, you can go back and revert to changes as well, which is incredibly useful. So there you go, £100 for designer in your team. That's not bad. So with Marcus, thank you for that, Marcus, top marks. With Hobkirks, I noticed on Facebook that it said you still have a Happy New Year cover image. The cover image is one of those that depends on how you access your Facebook profile, you don't always spot. So when you're on the desktop, it's more obvious. So just again, if you're updating things, just be aware that they do date and you need to make a note to change them. So Remembrance Day, if you were to put a popular one on, but it's still in February, it dates it quite a lot, obviously. Great videos. One of the things I did notice though is that on your website, it links through to YouTube, but you've not uploaded the videos to YouTube. So really simple thing. And again, it's another social media platform that you can utilize and then reshare again. And again, same thing with your staff, having met a lot of the team, focus on the staff and also what you sell. You've got an absolute Aladdin's cave of different craft products in there. So you can look at lots and lots of different products. And again, Canva might be a really good option for you with that. I think groups would be a really good one for you as well, Marcus, looking at sewing groups in the area, but also Blackburn groups as well. I think that probably applies to quite a lot of you. There's a few videos that have been posted without an explanation or no call to action. It might just say video 2. So again, it's take a peek inside Hobkirk's and Aladdin's Cave or blah, blah, blah. So it's just useful ways of just trying to promote posts that you've got and using the content, but having that call to action as well. Love that you used the post about Jackie at Stitch and the car that she's got, fab car. It's got all buttons as like a sticker over it, look really good. But will Jackie give you a testimonial? Can you use a picture of Jackie as well? Jackie is somebody that's bought sewing machines off Hobkirk, so really nice way of promoting the customer as well. And again, Twitter, you've got a really good following, but the last post was in January 2017, so it's all about that consistency. It doesn't need to be not even every month, you know, it can just be something where you've got that consistency of some posts going out, just so it shows that you're still active on those platforms. What I've done with the session is I've left a little bit of time now. If anyone's got any questions or any areas that they're struggling with, particularly in their business, is there anything that anyone would like to ask me?
No, I'm just looking at this Canva thing, and that £100 is for one person access. For 5 people, it's £340. So it goes up with the number of people. I missed that, sorry.
Right. Again, it depends on who you team. So it might be that you've got a dedicated person doing the design element.
Yeah.
But it's an option to try and get that design.
It looks really good.
Cost.
Yeah.
It's just I know that images are something that's so visual on social media, but a lot of people struggle with I don't know what to share, or I don't have a picture of this, or I wasn't there myself, or it's not happened yet. So having an illustration, whether it is just a coloured block with some text, honestly, they're so easy to make. And you've got a bank of templates as well that you can click on and then customise so that they're in your colours, or you can change a photograph in the background. So it just gives you that flexibility of doing lots of things.
I've looked again, and it's actually free for non-profit organisations.
Well, there you go. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, so for this year, then that's all of us.
Yeah.
You just need to know where to click.
Can I just ask? I'm probably going to try moving forward with Facebook first, with what you've said, because I'm still doing the website as well. And then once we sort of get that going, link in the others as well, so we can expand to everywhere. We have 3 stores in 3 very separate towns. What is the best way when you have more than one store? Because we might be wanting to promote different things. So should I set up 3 completely different Facebook accounts, or how does that work?
I think a lot of it comes down to what time you have. If you had oodles of time or somebody that manages social media in-house, then I would say, yes, set up different ones for different stores, because you can then promote the specific staff and that kind of thing, or talk about that particular shop. However, knowing how time poor a lot of people are, I would start with doing more is. Again, if you're looking at scheduling, you can promote different stores and almost make a bit of a checklist of, right, okay, I looked at Skipton on Monday, I'm going to look at Blackburn next week, and I'm going to look at the following week, just so you've got that consistency of showcasing all of them, but also you're not tying yourself into having to look at 4 different accounts on Facebook and 4 different accounts on Twitter. So otherwise it just becomes this massive beast that you think, I can't do that, I haven't got the time. If you have got that time, or you grown, or you've got another team member, or perhaps a budding intern that wants to take over more social media responsibility, you can then look at splitting it in the future.
Been good.
I think a lot of it would be showcasing whatever product or service you've got and making sure you've got some of those posts going out. But look as well at client testimonials, have a look at events that you're involved with, even team things. I think a lot of you would benefit from showcasing the team and the experience and the approachability within your workplaces. Make sure that you tag Blackburn Bid and Experience Blackburn. If you've got news that you want us to share to the visitor population, it would be Experience Blackburn. And if it's news that you want to share between businesses, so let's say you've got a workshop or a service that is relevant for Bid members, that would be Blackburn Bid. But if in doubt, just tag one of them and I'll share it on the appropriate channels.
I ask what might be a silly question? Right at the beginning, you talked about you can't break the internet.
Yes.
But I suppose, I mean, my children are a bit older now, but when they were teenagers, it was sort of banging to be careful what you put on social media, because once it's out there, you've no control, you can't get it back. But yet you said you can sort of undo it. So I think part of my reluctance would be, oh, what if I get it wrong? And it's there forever and I can't change it.
I think my best advice is to, when you've written a post out, read it back. How can it be viewed? You know, have you got anything in there controversial that goes against the guidelines and the ethos of the business? It's highly unlikely that you will have. But if it's something that is a bit controversial, I think, I don't know how that would go down, delete it. You know, if you think it can be misconstrued, then don't post it. If it is a picture of somebody else, for example, let's say you've got a service user that you've got a photograph of and you check with them, can we use your photograph on social media? Yes. If you've got any release forms that you want to get signed or you want to create one of those, it's personal profiles where, you know, if you're saying I'm off work because I'm ill, but then you've got a picture of you out partying, then yeah, you know, I can understand why that would go down. And once it's out there, people have got the opportunity to screenshot things. Or
Sarah, who looks after our social media, I think she's going to jump on the next one you're doing next week, actually, because obviously she understands the basics. But she's mentioned before about responding to comments and stuff, and obviously we don't have a person who can spend all day keeping their eye on Facebook and responding, and you know, we're not a 24/7 service, we're a 9 to 5 service. So if somebody was checking the Facebook at 11 o'clock at night and sent us a question, there's nobody going to be sat there. Can you make your page so that people don't expect an answer, or
there's a very simple way of doing this.
Information out rather than getting it back, as it were?
There are quite a few ways that you can help with that. So you can set up auto messages, especially on Facebook, where if you get a message to the page as a private message, you will then get a ping back to say, thank you very much for your message. We'll respond, between the hours of 9 and 5, for example. So you can set those up so people don't expect 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, someone's going to respond immediately. You can also do it where it's a little bit more refined. So it might signpost people to different areas. So, you know, if you've got an urgent query, please visit this particular web page, for example.
Yeah.
So you can set all those kind of things up. You'll have seen them, the chat bots, when you go on, like, renewing your car insurance, and it'll ping up of, can I help you? And it's that kind of thing that you can set up. So you can customize the messages. You can make them as simple or as refined as you like. But just simple, we're away right now, we'll be back between 9 and 5. We'll respond to your message as soon as we can. Because it's always on. You expect that.
It's like instantaneous. Yeah. Okay, that helps. Thank you.
Any other questions? This is your chance. Go on, Wayne.
So just need to get on it and playing. Yeah. That's
the thing. The more you use it, the more you'll get comfortable with it. So like I said, if there's anything else afterwards that you come off this call and you think, I should have asked that, just give me a shout.
Oh, that's really helpful. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, really good. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Brilliant. Lovely. Well, thank you very much for joining us as well, Paige. Nice to see you.
Lovely,
Thank you. See you later.